Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas using data. And today, we're going to tackle one of the most persistent and, let's be honest, stressful ideas out there, the link between your age and your potential for success.
Let's start with this pretty intimidating thought, one that's often credited to Albert Einstein himself. It's this idea that creativity and major breakthroughs are a young person's game, that there's some kind of strict deadline on our greatest achievements.
I mean, that belief creates a ton of anxiety for anyone over 30, right? But is it actually true? Today, we're going to dig into the research to find out if success really does have an expiration date.
First things first, to really understand the relationship between age and achievement, we have to get super precise about two crucial concepts, two words that, as we'll see, mean very different things.
So let's talk about performance. This is basically what you do. It's your individual skill, your effort. Think of it as how fast you can run, or a paper you publish, or a painting you create. And what's really fascinating is that the actual difference in performance between people is often surprisingly small.
I mean, take the fastest man on Earth, Usain Bolt. He only outperforms his closest competitors by a razor-thin margin. We're talking about 1%. This shows us that performance is what we call bounded. There are real physical and practical limits to how much better one person can be than another.
But success? Well, that's a whole different animal. It's not about what you do. It's about how we, the community, respond to what you do. It's collective, it's all about perception, and unlike performance, it has no limits. It's unbounded.
This is a perfect example. In just one weekend, author Nicholas Sparks sold an incredible 100,000 books. Amazing, right? But in that same weekend, Dan Brown sold 1.2 times million. Now, their performance as writers might be comparable, but their success was on a completely different planet. That's the unbounded nature of success.
Okay, so if our individual performance is pretty tightly constrained, but success is this wildly unpredictable, unlimited thing, how does this connect back to age and Einstein's dreaded deadline?
Well, when you first look at the data, you think, wow, Einstein was right. Researchers tracked thousands of scientists and found that their breakthroughs, their highest impact work, overwhelmingly happened early in their careers. And after that, the probability just tanks.
It seems like an open and shut case, doesn't it? The numbers look pretty clear, but this chart is missing a crucial piece of the puzzle. There's a hidden variable here that changes everything.
And here is the real discovery. When those same researchers mapped the productivity of scientists, how many papers they were publishing over time, they found a curve that was almost identical to the success curve. And here's the crucial point. Any single project you take on, at any age, has the same random chance of being your biggest success. Younger scientists don't have more creativity, they just have more attempts.
Think of it like a lottery. Every paper, every project, every attempt is basically a lottery ticket. Younger people aren't getting better tickets. They are just buying more of them. Their higher productivity just means they have more chances to hit the jackpot. It's not about age, it's about attempts.
And this whole lottery ticket idea isn't just some neat theory for scientists. We can see this exact same principle playing out in totally different fields, from research all the way to business.
Look at this number, 72. That's how old scientist John Fenn was when he published the groundbreaking work that would eventually win him the Nobel Prize, and the story behind it is just incredible.
Get this, at age 70, Yale University forced him to retire and shut down his lab. But he didn't stop. He moved, opened a brand new lab, and at 72, he published his masterpiece. He just kept buying lottery tickets, and finally he won. His creative breakthrough wasn't tied to a biological clock. It was tied to his persistence. Okay, so what about Silicon Valley? It's famous for being dominated by young founders and hoodies. Surely that's one area where youth equals success, right?
A 50-year-old founder is actually twice as likely to launch a highly successful company, one with a major exit, as a 30-year-old founder. Let that sink in for a second. Twice as likely.
So why is that? Well, while younger founders do start more companies, they're more productive, buying more tickets, older founders have a much higher success rate per attempt. Their experience, their networks, and their resources just mean that each lottery ticket they buy has a better chance of being a winner.
And this brings us to the single most important takeaway from this entire analysis. The potential for a creative breakthrough for your biggest hit, it doesn't fade with time. What changes is often just our willingness or our ability to keep trying, to keep being productive.
The power isn't in some magical spark of youthful genius. The real power is in continuing to show up, to keep trying, and to keep buying those tickets. Because according to the data, your next project, no matter your age, has just as much chance as any other to be your biggest hit ever.